Oh, we finally gonna talk about the Cavs?
It's time to talk about these Cleveland Cavaliers.
Hey man, Soul Train tried to get us there too.
Talk about women's college basketball. So let you know where the Cavs is at, right? Look, man. Soul Train said they need to bench somebody to start the lineup. I wonder who he's talking about. I hope he's not talking about Evan Mobley. Here's the thing, Q, that makes me upset. We always talk about the too big lineup with the Cavs. Too big lineup. We can't play two bigs at the same time. Space is not going to work.
Yeah, when did everybody get fascinated with that?
You know, I find it interesting because when Evan Mobley came back from his first injury in January, they were 9-1 with him in the starting lineup. Nobody said anything. Too big lineup. Nobody said anything about it.
It's one of those things that just became a talking point because, like, I don't know, people don't like.
If you look at the numbers, hold on, man, I might actually have to pull it up because I know. Shout out, Justin Rowan, aka Cavs Canada, because he tweeted. He don't even be on Twitter anymore because y'all be pissing him off. He don't want to be arguing about the Cavs on his account because he might get in trouble. Oh man, let me look up these.
I understand, bro.
Like, because he be wanting to pop off on y'all, and I 100%.
My least favorite thing is when somebody come at you like with obvious antagonistic energy, and then you be like, "Now, why you being antagonistic about something stupid?" And they be like, "Oh no, you misinterpreted me. I'm like, come on, I was actually agreeing with you." And I'm like, "Bro, come on, man. Like, I ain't mad. Just let this moment happen. You getting dunked on right now. Don't make me feel bad about this." Okay?
Don't make me feel bad.
Don't you dare try to gaslight me. Don't you dare try to gaslight me into thinking I fouled you. No, I did it. Nah, that lane was clean. Okay. You stood right there. Okay.
Oh, okay. He didn't tweet it. They tweeted it from their podcast, the Chase Down, their podcast account, the Chase Down podcast. Hold on, because they have the net rating numbers on here. So now I got to find it. Let's see.
By the way, this is a great time to remind people we got a TikTok now. We got Spotify. You know, Greg out there doing the Spotify every week and the TikTok stuff. Make sure you check out Qncolb on TikTok and Spotify. And tell your friends, but like not your friends that snitch on you at work, but like your good friends. You know, you know who to tell this podcast to. You know what
I mean? Okay, so here's the numbers. So they call them the core four. So Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, two bigs.
Yes, sir.
Lineup data for the last two seasons. When they all play on the court at the same time together. Offensive rating, 118.9. Defensive rating, 110.5. So net rating, 8.3. When it's just Donovan Mitchell and the two bigs, offensive rating 114.5, defensive rating 105.5. So net ratings +9. When it's just DG and the two bigs, offensive rating 113, defensive rating 112.7. So only a 0.3 net rating.
Interesting.
Which leads me into the point. People are so hyper fixated on them playing Evan Mobley and Jared Allen at the same time, when that's not really the reason they've been losing games at all, to be honest with you. It's kind of, I feel weird talking about it, mostly because I feel like Darius has dealt with a lot injury-wise that people may not have been aware of. He also lost like 13 pounds because he had his jaw wire shut and he could only have like fluids.
Yeah, it's really much tougher than people give it credit for. And then also when you lose that much weight, it's going to throw off your shooting.
And he's gotten the shooting back. What it's really impacted is how he finishes at the rim.
Yes.
He can't do it right now. And when
It
you
reminds
lose,
you of like earlier in his career where he had issues finishing at the rim.
yeah,
And it
when
was
you
lighter.
randomly lose 13 pounds involuntarily, and
Yes.
you can't gain the weight back because you're in the middle of the season.
You
You
hooping.
see what I'm saying?
It's a lot of Chipotle.
Yeah, so it's difficult, but the reason that they've been struggling so much is because he's regressed. And they can't survive it without Donovan Mitchell on the court now. Like they can't score enough. They can't score enough unless Donovan Mitchell's out there. And obviously Max Strus not being out there is having an impact. Dean Wade, them not having Dean Wade is having an impact. Now, obviously not on a much smaller scale, but like but they need Donovan Mitchell and they need Max Strus out there to be able to score enough. And Darius can't carry the load without them. So that's why they look the way they look. People trying to like put all this on Mobley and saying that he's like he hasn't been good enough, and we don't know if we can give him the max. I just like, bro, have you been watching him play at all? Like I don't know what people want. Like he's been good when he's been on the court for the most part. So I don't really know what people want. I really don't.
Bill Simmons did a bad thing to Evan Mobley, man.
Brian Windhorst did too, to be completely honest.
They started going out there and calling this motherfucker Tim Duncan. And that was never a fair expectation for him. And we talk about this all the time. In sports, with great expectation comes great skepticism, right? The higher they hype you up, the harder they'll crash down on you if they don't feel like you living up to those expectations. And that's what's happening to Evan, right? People compared him, not people, Brian Windhorst and Bill Simmons compared him to Kevin Garnett and Tim Duncan. Now, if we kept the comps to Chris Bosh, like we would be at a different place with this. People forget Chris Bosh was a maximum player. But since the expectations aren't simply being a really, really good NBA player, which he's going to be, it's be generational. Every moment that Evan Mobley is not generational, people are critical of. He plays good, it's not good enough. He plays great, he should do that every game. It's always some, right? Because the bar is set too high. And then also when you said generational expectations on the player, we don't give them normal timelines to develop, right? We act as if every NBA player is who they're ever going to be 2 years into their career, 3 years into their career, when that's clearly not the case, right? Like
22.
Like think about like Joel Embiid. Like Joel Embiid wasn't like Joel Embiid to like year 7. Like he was becoming Joel Embiid, but there's a clear difference between early Joel Embiid with the baby fro and big ass Joel Embiid that exists now, right? Unstoppable Joel. That's not to say that Evan Mobley is going to become Joel Embiid, but he's very early in this process. And I think people are just being unfair. And then because everybody's used to being unfair, when there's a problem with the Cavs, where's the first place they look? They're always looking at Jared Allen.
Mm-hmm.
They're always looking for a reason to blame him. They're going to blame Evan Mobley. Doesn't help. How did they lose that playoff series? Getting beaten the inside, right? So people are always looking to blame them. Never mind the fact that only one of your backcourt players showed up in that series as well. Right? Because Donovan Mitchell was nowhere to be found.
And he really only showed up for one game.
And Donovan Mitchell? What game did he show up for? Well, I say Darius Garland showed up for a game and a quarter. And that is 5 times more than Donovan Mitchell showed up. Okay.
We got a super chat about this from Ray Rags. F it. I'll say what the problem is right now, other than missing Donovan, it's Darius Garland. You can't have only one 20-point game since D. Mitch has been hurt and only shoot above 45% once, and it was the last game 6-12.
Yeah, it's Darius, man. He's regressed. He's regressed from that season that they had when they first got Mobley when he was an all-star. You see what I'm saying? And he was frying people. And the issue after that season, we were talking about the Cats, the issue was they didn't have enough around Darius offensively to get it done because he was playing so well. They were trying, how are we going to build it around Darius? You see what I'm saying? He's regressed. And there's legitimate reasons for it. We talked about the injuries, but it is what it is. There's nothing there's nothing that they can do with it. Like he can't keep the team afloat in that same way. But there's one thing I wanted to talk about with Brian Windhorst and what he said about Evan Mobley when he got drafted, because he hated that they took Mobley. Like he talked about it, and then I think Justin was the one who sent me, or there might have been, no, it might not have been Justin, it might have been somebody else. But he was talking about how Mobley was a project, and he's not going to be good for 4 years, and it's going to set the team back that they have him, and all of these different things. And then you realize that since Evan Mobley has been a Cleveland Cavalier, they have won more games every single season.
Oh, they're significant. They made the playoff. Well, they made the play-in at least every year he's been here, right?
He's been an all-NBA first-team defender in his second year in the league. He's averaging 16 and 10, 3 assists, and shooting career highs across the board. From the field, from the three-point line, from the free throw, from free throw, his per 36. And I always point this out. He's doing it in a career low in minutes. His per 36 numbers are the highest they've been since he's been in the league. He quite literally has gotten better every single season. And people are upset. It's like, oh, well, he's the pro. We don't know if we can give him the max. Like, we might have to get rid of him. You know, the Cavs. I'm like, listen, if you guys get rid of a player that has gotten better every year and give him to another team, you're probably going to regret it. like I honestly, truly hope the Cavs don't listen to the fans, because if they listen to the fans, they're going to get rid of a good young player, and another team's going to benefit, and then they're going to do what we used to do with the Browns all the time. You see a player who used to be here, now he played well in another team. They're like, oh man, why couldn't he do that when it's like, oh, we just gave away another one. Maybe we should have, and then you're going to look stupid. So just calm down. Hopefully the team will get healthy and they'll be fine.
People actually talking about the Cavs need to trade Evan Mobley.
You know, Domo and everybody be like, they gotta pick 2 of the 4. You want Donovan and Evan, or Donovan and Jared, and then you gotta get rid of the other 2. Like, you gotta get rid of Darius, or you gotta get rid of Mobley, or you gotta get rid of Allen, and you gotta figure out which ones you're gonna keep. And I'm just like, bro, if they get rid of anybody, and I don't know why my light is doing that. That's crazy. If they get rid of anybody, if Donovan Mitchell decides to re-sign here, and I think he will, then I feel like it's okay for you to trade Darius at that point, because he's here. But I don't see them trying to get rid of either of their bigs right now, unless somebody offers something crazy for one of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, then they might consider it. But outside of that, keep them both.
When did this whole you can't have 2 bigs that can't shoot thing like become a rule in the NBA?
I don't know.
What? Did I miss something? Like, I don't get that whole take. Like, I get it for spacing and everything, but I mean, the problem that the Cavs have with their 2 bigs is that they're not 2 bigs. Like, they're more like, they're thinner, they're smaller, they're not going to be super heavy. Like, that's been the issue that you've had with them defensively, offensively, is that they can get pushed around a bit by heavier, more physical teams. But them being able to shoot don't fix that. Just takes them away from the rim. Like, I don't know if you think that's this catch-all or something. Like, And with Evan Mobley, like as long as he's developing, you probably do want another big out there while he's out there, especially one that can pass big to big as well as he can. Like it's a threat out there in the. I don't get the whole anger over the two bigs thing, and it's like I guess people took that energy that they had because we have the too small guard problem, and they were like, we need to create another one while Donovan's out there. Let's go two bigs that can't shoot. Yeah, that feels right. Right, that feels right. That's our next crusade. I don't know. I don't really think that's the big thing that matters. I think that there are clearly parts to this roster that need to be adjusted. Like they have some bigger problems overall that are going to limit them for now. We'll see what Darius does if he can get healthy and everything next year, or if they move on from him. But there's going to have to be some decisions made, like the small backcourt thing. That's a thing. It's a real thing, right?
Yes.
Like that they have to consider. Yeah, Evan and Jarrett being similar builds, but both being your front court players, especially when you don't have the longest wings. I mean, for a long time, you didn't have any wings. Okay.
Hey, but we should throw this out really quick. We should throw this out. Isaac Okoro has been significantly better this season.
Here's the thing with Isaac Okoro. Still a small wing.
Yeah. I think I've always said this. He's a great defender. He's much better guarding guards than he is guarding like real wings. You see what I'm saying? Like when you put him on guards, players that you know are guards. Yeah. Even they can be
when
like
you put him on Paul George, it starts to get exposed a little bit.
Yeah,
right?
but you put him on the Jason Tatums, the Paul Georges, LeBron.
You know
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's at a disadvantage physically. You see what I'm saying? They need a wing. Like they need a real wing on the team.
Long wing.
Yeah. They need a wing on the team. They've needed it for years. They do not.
I ain't never seen a team need prime Robert Covington more than the Cavs.
Legit though, like legit. That's what they need.
Like what do they need? Remember when Robert Covington was on the 76ers?
Like if they still like if Ron Artest was still in the league, that's who the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Oh my
that's
God.
what the Cleveland Cavs need.
Yes.
Everything Prime Ron Artest brought to the basketball court is exactly what the Cleveland Cavaliers need.
The whole Marcus Morris thing brings me joy and fills me with concern at the same time.
Why it filled you with concern?
He coming out here basically just telling us, man, they ain't got it. Like, they need to get it. Like, they have that. They don't have that dog. Like he's coming out like we need to get way tougher. Like essentially.
Hold on, I'm looking at the chat. Hold on. Edwin Taylor said towels would be perfect for me.
Yeah, get a big that can shoot. Yeah, get a big that can shoot. Put him next to Evan Mobley. That fix it.
How you feel about that, Hugh?
Hey, if that happens, I'll watch Death Note. Just so I can know how to do it.
Hey, yo. Ooh, what's wrong with you, bro?
Give me the notebook.
No.
Because I'm coming for whoever wrote that comment. Put that in the universe.
Oh, man. You think they call it a cast off now? Man. We had
hey, they're going to be getting boxed out. Carl Anthony Towns going to be humming and shit.
Man. Cat had 60 points. They had a net rating of 0, and they lost that game. I'll never forget that for as long as I live, bro. Because how does that happen? They lost to the Hornets, bro.
Is that the way he got benched? Because they benched
him at the end of the game because they was trying to win. How many wins the Hornets got? Hold on.
Hey, dog. Did that happen when like there were some historical performances? Joel was cooking.
Man, it was the same. It was the same night that Joel had 70. He had 60. I'm like, dang, Cat going off, and then you look. No. How many was the Hornets won 17 games? Oh man, Brandon Miller was cooking.
They still got Kelly Oubre.
No, Kelly Oubre on the 76ers.
Damn.
Ooh,
That's rough.
Man, hey, y'all think people complain about the bigs we got now? Imagine if Cat was on the team. Imagine if Cat was on the team.
You know what? Cat would make me madder because I can understand why Jared Allen is just going to get physically dominated because he's not that big. Cat too big, man. Cat is way too big to be moved around that easily. Like, off principle, that's going to piss me off. I'm like, how do you not stand your ground?
He would definitely solve, like, if people are really hung up about the spacing thing, he'd solve that. Man, you don't want Cat here, dog. Yeah. You do not want Cat here.
He'll solve that. You know what else he's going to solve? Evan Mobley being on the all defensive team. That's it. That's over.
Oh, yeah. Cat here?
No.
Absolutely not.
That man can't do two jobs.
Man, that's just and
I just don't want him around Evan Mobley. I'm sorry. I don't need him acting like Cat.
What's wrong with Cat? What you mean? You can't act like Cat. What's wrong with Cat?
I'm talking about taking all them damn threes.
Ooh, watch how fast having a big who can shoot becomes a problem. Watch how fast people start complaining about it.
We don't get any rebounds. How do we start 2 7-footers and we get no rebounds? Our transition defense is bad. Like,
you already know it's coming too.
What the fuck you think was gonna happen? Like, hey man, people get dead set on like these basic solutions just because it I guess do it even sound good?
No.
Like, when you got 2 small guards, like I don't know, man. I don't think that's gonna solve the problem, dog. Like, you know, getting more dudes on the perimeter, that don't really like make me think that you about to fix the issue.
They need a wing that is good. This is just what it's gonna be until they get one.
Well, they need the one piece, is what you're telling me. Hey, all you need is a good 3. Good luck finding that.
You gotta give something up to get it. It might be there.
Who is even giving it up?
That's also a great question.
Who got a great wing to spare? Man, would you like to give us Brandon Ingram? Please help me out. It's all I need. Yeah, I know if you do this is all you'll need, but like, please do it for me. We got a better shot getting LeBron back here, dog. Like,
LeBron solved the issue.
Yeah, even at 40. Okay,
he would absolutely solve the issue. Man.
Imagine LeBron and Donovan Mitchell interacting. Like,
man.
Imagine Donovan Mitchell being like, "Bro, I want you to stand here."
Ooh, maybe he get the leash that Kyrie had. You know what I'm saying? Bro, I used to let Kyrie just be Kyrie.
But I feel like that's because Kyrie is Kyrie.
That's also true.
You're not gonna control that, right? Like,
also, all you people who said that Donovan Mitchell is already the second greatest Cavalier, please shut up. Please shut up.
Hey man, we really forget how good Kyrie was.
Have some pride, please.
Really
as a Laker fan, it kind of disgusted me to see y'all saying that. that's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
You're just throwing somebody above your legends. Like, I would never do that. I would never do that. Brown won a whole chip with the Lakers. He's probably at best 5th best Laker ever, and that's all he'll ever be to me.
That's kind of high. I didn't think you would have him that high.
I've had some.
If we're just ranking him as a Laker,
he'll never crack the top 4. He'll never crack the top 4.
I mean, like, he's LeBron, so I guess you feel obligated to put him in the 5. But like, if we're just talking about what he's done as a Laker, like, it's been impressive, but it's not been like.
That's the debate I've had. I was like, at best, you can put him 5th, and even then, it's kind of like is
who
Bron,
you gonna
so
put him
I
over?
get it.
Like, because it's obviously it's Magic, it's Kobe,
Kareem,
Shaq.
Shaq. That was the top 4.
He don't belong in that 5.
That's what I'm saying.
Lakers.
That's what I was like. You can't put him in the top 4 ever.
Like, maybe you can debate James Worthy.
like whoever you would put at 5th, I'd say okay, maybe it's debatable just because it's Bron. But even then, it's like.
But it's not Bron that we talk. It's Bron just in LA. Like,
I mean, he won. You know what I'm saying? He won. Yeah. So it's like, okay, he got one. So he won. So we can. So you
can put him over like Jerry West.
Even then, well, I'm like, man,
but even then, like Jerry West, like, it's hard to put LeBron over people who had Hall of Fame careers entirely based off their work as Lakers. When he's a Cavalier, like, I just don't think he qualifies for the conversation.
I mean, they gonna retire his jersey and everything because that's just what the Lakers do. But like,
he's
having a real discussion. It's like
culturally, he's never going to be a Cavalier. I mean, he's never going to be a Laker.
Oh, absolutely not. He's a
Cavalier. So I don't think he belongs. Like, I think that conversation is exclusive to people who are a Laker. When they
know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you can't just throw Carmelo in there because he played once for the Lakers.
No,
like,
we not doing that.
It's like, okay, what has he done as a Laker? Like, he has to feel like a Laker. Like Shaq played in Orlando, feels like a Laker.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you remember all them other side, but you think of Shaq, you close your eyes, you think of that purple and gold. You close your eyes and you think of LeBron in that navy blue Cavaliers jersey that went triple platinum in 07. Okay. With a headband on and the swingman shorts. Okay.
So stop trying to put Donovan Mitchell as the second greatest Cavalier or trying to rank him over Kyrie.
Is Donovan Mitchell even at the point where he's a Cavalier? Like,
no, bro.
That second contract first.
Like, I'm like, people. Oh yeah, he's already. I'm like, no, he's not. Shut up.
Kyrie is one of the most important Cavaliers in his team's history. Like,
he's the second. He's either the second or third greatest Cavalier, depending on how you feel about Mark Price.
Oh, he's definitely over Mike Price.
But okay, then he hit the greatest shot in NBA history in the finals.
Underrated 2015 playoff run.
Yeah, until he got hurt. Very underrated.
Hey, you could have won if that knee would have just held it together.
Just look at his stats in that first game when he got hurt.
Yeah.
At
that point, that knee was hanging on by glue. Okay, Elmer's glue. Like, we all knew that bitch was coming up.
Hey, we gotta hit this. We gotta hit this.
Does Kevin Love? Is he a top 10 Cavalier?
Yeah. Yeah, he
is that because there's not really like 10 Hall of Fame Cavaliers? And also, serious question: do you think of Kevin Love as a Cavalier because he played here the longest?
Yeah, I think of him as a Cav.
But I always think of him as a Timberwolf.
I don't. I stopped thinking of him as a Timberwolf when they won.
Like, here, I think the Kevin Love that played in Minnesota is almost a different person than the Kevin Love that played in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Entirely different players.
Yeah.
It's just so hard because we spent so much time complaining about Kevin Love that, like, I'll never put him in the right perspective.
I mean, he made a whole bunch of All-Star teams, and he
was probably better than I remember him. It's just
he got his moment. He had his moment in the chip. He had his moment.
Oh, to stop.
You know what I'm saying?
In the game, he had like 9 points in. No, he even had 9. He had like 2.
It don't matter.
It's just I always remember feeling like we could have got more out of Kevin Love. Like I always wanted him to be the Chris Bosh of this team, and I'm like, man, Chris Bosh was way more impactful for the Heat than he was. And it's probably a really unfair comp for him. Like,
I mean, Chris Bosh was way better defender.
Dude, Chris Bosh was so good, man. I feel
so
like so many people forget about that. Chris Bosh
Toronto
was so
Chris Bosh
fucking annoying on the Heat.
Toronto Chris Bosh was different.
Hey man, I remember Chris Bosh used to just come out there with them long, skinny ass arms, just block something out of nowhere. You're like, God damn it, Chris Bosh, make that little stupid jumper. Right on the fucking elbow.
Like, man, he was a hooper. Yeah,
man, blood clots. That's tragic.
Robbed us or something, right? He still made the Hall of Fame.
It's unfortunate that people ain't gonna understand what that was. Like,
it's a lot of players like that, though.
Yeah, like Chris Bosh is firmly in that generation of player that people forgot because, like, oh, he was the third guy on the Heat. I'm like, he was such a good third guy. Honestly, LeBron has never had a third guy more impactful than Chris Bosh ever was. Nobody even came close. Like, if Kevin Love could have been as impactful as Chris Bosh, Bron would have had 3.
Yeah.
Bron would have had 3 in Cleveland that second round. And that's not on Kevin. Like, Kevin's just not Chris Bosh, but like, man, there's an alternate universe out there where Chris Bosh gets to leave the Heat and comes on a reunion run with the Cavs in 2019. With Dwayne Wade.
Ooh. Hey, we got to do this. We got to get to these super chats real quick because there's too many. Ray Rags. I want to know, how did people expect Evan Mobley to make an offensive jump when he at best will be the third option that needs to get set up to get lit and sometimes fourth with 2 ball dominant scorers? Thank you,
Qncolb. I got a question for you.
Okay.
Do you think moving off of, let's say, Darius Garland, you get back Donovan Mitchell, you move off Darius Garland? Do you think just the volume of shots now being available for Evan Mobley will be something that in the long run, or even just like in the next season, would benefit the team more than having Darius Garland?
It's kind of weird because everybody complains about Darius as like how he's scoring the ball right now. But I've always felt like what made him the most impactful is how he sets other guys up, his facilitating, his passing. You will miss that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's an element that they're going to miss. Now, if you trade him, here's another thing about that. If you trade Darius Garland, I'm assuming you're trading Darius Garland for a wing, because that's the only reason. That's the only way it makes sense to do it. You see what I'm saying? You're having somebody else be the point guard who's maybe isn't as good as Darius, but could do some other things.
Who's a wing you would go after?
I've always said Brandon Ingram was the guy I thought like I've always said Brandon Ingram
with Darius.
Deal with Darius. Like I was like, okay, let's go get Brandon Ingram. Maybe there's a younger guy they try to go after for a team that needs a point guard. And I always said that Darius would be better. Like Darius is better when he's healthy and he has his own team and he's doing his own thing. So if you could trade him to another team that could use a guy like that for a younger wing who's also very good, I can see them doing that. But as far as Evan, it's kind of like until he shows that he needs the ball more, he's always going to be the third or fourth option.
That's the thing. Like, I think eventually you need to put Evan in a spot where producing offensively isn't optional in order for him to take that next step.
I understand what you're saying.
Like, if you want him to take that next step, if you really think he can take that next step, like, he's gonna have to, like, necessity is something of, I've fucked up the whole saying, but necessity breeds innovation, right? And right now he doesn't need to score every night. And I just wonder if he were put in a situation for a whole season where there was pressure on him to score, would that be something that can kind of accelerate or push forward his development because his advanced numbers and his efficiency is going up. The production's similar than what it's been for the last couple of years, but he's getting it cleaner. And I'm just like, eventually you got to see if you need him to put out 20 and 10 on a given day. You need to see if he can do that. It can't be theoretical. Like, you can't be like, oh, his per 36, he can do this and that. Like, you need to know if he can put up those kind of numbers on a consistent basis. And I don't think you will until you empower him in the offense to do that. Now, it's a risk to take, right? Because, I mean, like, Darius is a 20-point per game scorer, right?
Yeah.
Like,
and he's like a 8 or 9 assist guy too.
Yeah, he's a good facilitator. He's a really good talent. Go off. And in the playoffs, he was the only one that showed up. So, it's going to be a tough choice, but I do think some calculations like that are necessary, right? And that's why some people feel like they could make some of these moves and get better, because it might not just be about getting rid of that player, but what opportunities that opens up for other guys to develop. I think that's why so many people are so thirsty to get Jared Allen out of there, because they think that somehow that's going to make Evan Mobley like play bigger.
His stats would be better without Jared, but would the team be better? That's always the question I ask.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think the team would be better without Jared. Like, I don't get rid of Jared until I got a real replacement. Yeah, like,
there's no reason for them to get,
because he's not taking anything away from Evan Mobley. He's just helping Evan Mobley be in a position to be a really good defender. So the problem is he's just not that big. Like, you just need somebody bigger in that role, if that's what it's going to be, so that if you do have a Mitchell Robinson, it does not become a problem. But yeah, I just wonder with that, like, at some point we got to see if Evan can take a higher load of the shots and like produce. But in order to do that, because you've done a good job at drafting, it requires like letting some pieces go. There's some pieces. But like, I think every team has a crossroads like this, right? Like, at some point, Denver had to pick between Jokic and Nurkic.
Made the right decision.
Hey, was not a guarantee when they made that move.
100% made the right decision.
Yeah. But they had to make decisions like that. Okay, we're going to let this person shoot more. We're going to get this guy the ball more. Every team has those kind of moves. I think even Milwaukee had to do something similar to get, what's his name? I can't believe I'm blanking on his name. Chris Middleton, more opportunity to shoot, to see what he is. And I think that's where the Cavs are. They got to figure out who they're going to choose, why they're going to choose those spots, and who they're going to empower when they choose whoever they choose. And if they're right, they'll be a really competitive team for a while. If they're not, well, another one goes wrong, dog, and wouldn't be the first in the NBA. So it's a tough situation, but this is the, you know what this is? This is the puberty part of an NBA team developing, right? When you first start to get good, it's exciting. It's like, oh, he walking, he talking, he learned how to write and shit. This is crazy. This is that awkward teenage 12-year-old state that the Cavs are in, where they're like getting older, but they ain't anywhere close to where they're going to have to be. And it's kind of fucking annoying. Like, seeing them be in this awkward spot where they're trying to figure it out. But they got to go through it. And I think that takes a trial and error process. And they're going to have to figure out, like, who really needs to be here, who doesn't. And I don't know if the answer is Darius going. It might be Donovan. like
it depends. It literally just depends on what's going on. But I want to read you off his stats. Because like Evan Mobley's stats to me are funny. So 21-22, 34 minutes a game, rounding up, 0.508% from the field. So about 51% from the field, 25% from three, 66% from the line, 8 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 0.8 steals, 1.7 blocks, right?
Mhm.
15 points per game. 22-23. 34.4 minutes a game. 55 from the field. 3-point percentage dipped to 21%.
I remember that.
Free throw percentage, 67, so it went up a little bit. 9 rebounds went up a little bit. 2.8 assists went up a little bit. Steals stayed the same, 0.8. Blocks went down a little bit. It was 1.5. Now this season, biggest issue so far, he's only played 40 games. He's been injured. But minutes, only 30.7. So playing 4 less minutes a game. Field goal percentage, 58% from the field. 3-point percentage, he's at 33 right now.
It's getting decent.
Free throw percentage, 70. So he's gotten better. Total rebounds. Now keep in mind, he's playing 4 less minutes a game. 10 even.
It's clean.
Assists, 3.1. Playing 4 less minutes a game. Steals, 0.9. Blocks, 1.5. Again, all of this, in points, 15.6. Again, all of this, 4 less minutes a game on the court.
Also, like, I was talking to Tony about this a while ago, and I was like, I think a lot of like the shooting stuff we're concerned with Evan Mobley, like that'll go away if he gets heavier. Because like I think people underestimate how much weight affects a jumper. Like it's not something we think about, but like guys need to, like, LeBron was a much better shooter later in his career than he was in Miami because he was playing at like 280 in Miami. Like there's an optimal weight for shooting for whatever reason. I can't explain it to you, but it's a real thing. Like shooting coaches talk about it all the time. And I think with Evan, like he has all the fundamentals that have a good jumper. He just hasn't grown into it yet. Right. Like I think he's slowly but surely growing into that jumper. I think that's why like free throw percentage is going up. All these shooting percentages are going up. And I think by next year, he'll be closer to what he's going to be like his walk around weight as an adult. So I think they got to make I don't think they got to make a choice, but I think they got to start making a more concerted effort to make him a bigger part of that offense. Because I don't know. I don't love that for pretty much most of his career, scoring's been optional for him. And I worry about that becoming an issue later in his career if he does develop into that superstar type player. And there's times where he disappears because he falls back into that habit of like, okay, I'm gonna just let them cook. You know,
I think that's one of the drawbacks of being a young player on a team that's good.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
That's what happened with like Kuminga and dudes on the Warriors, where it's like there's just not that much opportunity because already
good.
So many spots, and they really need to win right now. And it's like if the Cavs were a team like who's like the Pacers, they like the 7-8 seed or whatever. If the Cavs were like in the play-in perennially, like not a team that you expect to be in the top 4 of the East, they would have room to do shit like this. But you're in this weird place where you're trying to feel like a contender, but you're also definitely not a contender. And that can be a very dangerous place for an NBA team to be when it comes to trying to break that, because you can get caught there so easily.
It's stuck there forever.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And I guess like the two players I would look at, and even in his draft class, Scotty Barnes and Jalen Green.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? The Raptors are not good. Scotty has the freedom to just go out there and do what he does. And with Jalen Green, he hasn't really been good. He hadn't really been good up until this point, but something in the last month with him has clicked, and he is frying teams right now. Frying teams right now. Oh, what? I tried to clean it up. I tried to clean it up.
Nah, I'm just saying that's a bad coincidence, dog. Even I know about that.
Listen, I'm just saying,
Yeah, something did click. Like,
children are a powerful motivator. That's all
hey,
I'm saying.
man.
Like, he playing like
Plural.
he playing like he need that money because he need that money. He need that money. You know what I'm
What's
saying?
the old Dave Chappelle joke? Play for your freedom.
Ooh, but, hey, whatever happened, it's working.
Hey. Again, he need to score. Like, it's not optional, right? Necessity has a way. Hey, necessity has a way of creating innovation, right? You ain't. Hey, we can all relate to this. We've all written a paper for school. You got 2 weeks on it. You can't think of nothing. But man, when you down to that last 4 hours, you start becoming Maya Angelou and that. You start typing all them ideas coming to your head, and you try to link them up, everything. And all of a sudden, now you done figured it out. Ain't nothing like pressure to bring what is needed out of you. And I think we're at that point with Evan where it's like, hey, they need to put a little bit more pressure on the man to score because I think he can do it. He's really good. And I think it's so unfair how people treat him because it's like, y'all want him to be in a position he's not even in yet. Because if this were a case where like the Cavs are putting pressure on him to perform offensively and then he wasn't doing it, okay, whatever. Like the criticism is there. But that's clearly not the case.
Like imagine if he just started hijacking possessions because he was trying to score the ball. He would get killed.
I would be furious. I'd be furious.
People would be beyond angry if he was doing that. He's costing us games and why is
you saw Evan Mobley run to the top of key.
like, dude, what you doing?
To the screen. What?
Like
y'all get mad whenever Evan Mobley take the fast break all the way to the hoop
and score.
Yeah. Why didn't he look for Max on the outlet? Not understanding how ridiculous it is that you can ask him to do that. Okay.
Like he had 8 assists last night. I was like, bro, I feel like people don't watch him. I feel like people don't watch him.
So, like, I got another question with Evan. Ideally, like, do you think he's one of those bigs that you need to play through too? Like not Jokic, but like, you know how Jokic kind of, you need to play through him, or is he going to be kind of a complementary piece to somebody who's going to be a primary? Like, how do you use him to get the most out of him? Because I don't feel like we're even close at all to using him offensively to get the most out of him.
It's like, I've always felt like he was an underrated passer. I always felt like he could facilitate and get guys good looks more than people gave him credit for. But when he's playing with Darius, when he's playing with Donovan, the opportunities for him to create for himself or for others, like he's not going to have a lot of opportunities to do that. It's a conundrum they find themselves in where they have all of these players who are some level of good, but do the pieces fit? Is it gonna work long term? Like those are questions the Cavs are gonna have to ask themselves and answer in the offseason, bro. I don't know what they're gonna do.
Because I'm gonna put this out there. I don't think we should make any assumptions about anybody at all. What I mean by that is just because Donovan Mitchell wants to come back here, I don't assume that the Cavs need to do it. They might, they probably will, but there's a lot to evaluate here, right? Like there's a ton to evaluate. They might look at it and be like, hey, this core is not going to do it. There's too many fundamental issues with the lineups that we have to run out there.
I'm starting to feel like that's where they're at with it. Like, hey, we got to make a decision here.
And it's like,
hey, you're not going to pick Darius over Donovan either.
You're not going to pick Darius over Donovan, right? Like Darius would obviously be the odd man out if Donovan Mitchell wants to stay. But also, like, then what do you put Donovan? Do you let him kind of play make like you were earlier in the year where and when
It was
everybody else was hurt and it was really working? Is that something that's going to work in the playoffs? Is Donovan Mitchell somebody you really want to rely on in that kind of way? Who do you put around him? Do you put a Coral at the 2, let him play the 1, like, and try to get bigger at the 3? Like, how do you maneuver around this to build the right team? And who is it built around? Because is it built around Donovan Mitchell and his strengths, or do you build an offense that you feel like might not be the best thing for today, but if Evan Mobley develops properly, will be the best thing for tomorrow? Because what's easy is to go, hey man, let's put Donovan Mitchell in a position to succeed. But I don't mean to sound mean when I say this, but we've seen where that goes. Second round, maybe an Eastern Conference final, but like, you're not going to win a chip like that. Like, Donovan's good. He's almost an MVP caliber player. But if James Harden can't get over the hump, it ain't gonna happen with Donovan. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
ask yourself, and Cavs fans in here, ask yourself a serious question. When's the last time a small guard was the best player on the championship team? And do not say Steph Curry, because Steph Curry is not small.
Well, Steph Curry.
He's also the greatest shooter of all time.
Yeah.
But he's not small. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not a small guard for real. I think he's like 6'3" or 6'4", something like that. He's like 6'3" or something like that.
Well, I mean, either way you label it, Steph Curry, Isaiah Thomas are exceptions.
That's it.
Nobody is saying that Donovan Mitchell is Steph Curry or Isaiah Thomas. And that's the thing. You can do it, but it requires you being Zeke or Steph.
2 of the 3 greatest point guards of all time is what it requires.
Yes. And in the case of Zeke, it requires playing basketball in a completely different era.
It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
So that's the thing. Like, and when I say build around, I'm like, if you build your team around the ideal that Donovan Mitchell's the best you got, and we gonna win this thing through Donovan Mitchell. Hey man, that was hard to do with Kobe. like Donovan ain't Kobe, and Kobe was 6'8", like was 6'6".
6'6". Listen, you either gotta have a generational wing player or a generational big man. Preferably both.
That's nuts. Who got both?
Lakers. Kobe and Shaq.
Oh yeah. Okay. You talking about? I thought you talking about current.
No, and let's say you either need generational wing player or players. Because remember, the Pistons had Mike and Scotty.
Mm-hmm.
We always leave Scotty out, but they had Mike and Scotty. You know, Lakers had Kobe and Shaq. You know, all the teams that had Bron. Spurs had Tim Duncan.
Hey,
you see what I'm saying?
Toronto got rid of DeMar, threw in
Kawhi. And won.
And won it all.
Even the Warriors, KD, Steph.
And Klay Thompson is 6'8".
Klay Thompson.
Like, we don't talk enough about Klay Thompson's role in all of this.
Yeah, the second greatest shooter of all time was also on those rosters. Yeah.
Also shut down defender
before he got hurt. Yeah.
Like at 6'8". Like,
that's what made Kyrie hitting that shot.
Kyrie was like, "Oh, I got Steph." He was tired of seeing Klay. But
he fried Klay one game though.
Mm-hmm.
Fried him.
Also had Andre Iguodala. I mean, like a lot of reasons why you were able to do that with Steph, given the support around you. That team had like 3-4 different 6'8" defenders who could get out on that wing and do what needs to be done. We got Marcus Morris. Okay.
Like you got to be real with yourself, man. This team can't win a title. They can't do it.
So I think the only shot you have is around Evan Mobley. And if I'm the Cavs, I think it's worth it. Like, you done got this team, you done got Evan Mobley a taste of winning and all that. Like, do what's right for him and make every decision around that. Because you're only going to go but so far chasing Darius Garland being your best player. You're only going to go but so far chasing Donovan Mitchell being your best player. But if you chase Evan Mobley being your best player, that's the one route that has potential to pan out and really pan out for this team. But
or trade for a wing.
Even trading for that wing, right? Like,
gotta trade for the right one though.
that would be about getting more out of Mobley. Like, because even if you got a good wing, you got Donovan Mitchell, you got Evan Mobley, you have a good team. You beating the Celtics with that?
Probably not.
No, he can't be.
Celtics got two good wings. Yeah. Celtics got two good wings. Real good wings.
Somehow finagle Brandon Ingram. Like, I don't think he's doing it. So, yeah, that's where I'm at with it. It's just, I think this Cavs team has a lot of steps to take, a lot of growth to take. And I'm more into watching the process. And I think this is a pretty awkward part of the process where, there's a lot of hope that it's going to go like this and everybody going to scale up and you could do it with the two small guards and the two tall man, but not big man bigs. And now this is the painful, crushing reality blow for the Cavs that's probably not going to work. And that this core that they built and that they like, it's going to have to be broken up, right? There's going to have to be some tough decisions being made. And it's not all going to happen at once. It's going to happen piece by piece. And then one day you're going to wake up and realize that this Cavs team is completely different. Hopefully in a good way.
Hey, let's get to the rest of these super chats. It's 3 hours?
We still got them. We
3
still
hours?
got them.
Yeah, we still got them.
3 more.
Greg for not falling asleep, man.
We got Ray Rags. Q. Sean Kemp has to be a case for top 10 Cavs. Kev is definitely top 5.
Sean Kemp has a case for top 10 Cav. Get out of here.
He might for real though. He might for real.
No. Sean Kemp is not a Cav. Okay.
He's a supersonic. He's a supersonic.
Sean Kemp definitely don't want you to think of him as a Cavalier.
Yeah. He's a supersonic for sure. Supersonic for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Another from Ray Rags.
Hey, does Drew Gooden have a case for top 10 Cavalier?
Hey, read the super chat, Greg.
What about Zydrunas Ilgauskas?
He might have a case.
I feel like he does more than Sean Kemp. Sean Kemp was obviously better, but Z was,
Was Sean Kemp better? Like, Sean Kemp was better with his whole career. But if we just talk about what Sean Kemp was doing in Cleveland, ain't none of them highlights you remember him being in Cleveland. Wearing that net. Like, all them highlights got supersonics on it. You know the one where he dunked on somebody at point? Yeah. Only highlight about Cleveland is the video clip of him being on a sports talk show talk about I cried when I got traded to Cleveland. He's definitely not a Cav.
Yeah, he definitely just off that alone, he can't be a Cav.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. No, sir. Not. No
way.
But Ray Rag says, also not saying he doesn't need to improve, but people act like he's in his 6th year in the NBA and he hasn't even finished his 3rd year yet. The team got to get good fast for his development.
They did get that's what I'm saying, bro. They got too good too fast. Where it's like, okay, what you're doing right now wins games, so that's what we need you to do.
And Qncolb, you know what's the crazy thing? It's Evan Mobley's fault that they got too good too fast. Like, they weren't on track to be decent until Evan Mobley showed up. And that's when they start, like, it is I hope they understand this. They didn't get better once Jared Allen was on the team. They didn't get better when they drafted Darius Garland. They both became really good players, but the player that immediately had a transformative reaction to your franchise was Evan Mobley.
Yes.
And then second to that, Donovan Mitchell. But like, it is what it is.
All right.
We got
two more.
Two more.
Ray Rags.
Ray Rags. This sounds stupid, and it's their best hope for the wing position from within the organization is if Amani Bates develops.
I mean, that's why they drafted him. I hope if he pans out, that's somebody that can help. Even with
From a
that
scoring standpoint, for sure.
From a scoring standpoint, that's somebody that can help it. Even with that, the best teams in the league have multiple wings who are good.
Also, hate to be the guy who brings this up because we all want to be super positive on the Amani Bates thing. If we're talking about needing to get rid of Darius Garland to open up more shots for Evan Mobley because Darius might be a little bit too ball dominant to have opportunities for Evan to develop, is Amani Bates really gonna get minutes in that kind of situation?
Sniper. He needs the ball.
Shoots a lot. Real ball dominant. Can put up points, but you know what Amani Bates gives me? One of those dudes that'd be really fun on a not so great team. Like, remember Rudy Gay?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's kind of like, a volume scorer is what they used to call him.
I wonder if Imani can be a guy
who can just like spot up threes,
who can thrive on a good team. I don't know if he can.
I think he can if he's the best player on that good team.
He's not going to.
But
be the best
he's
player.
not going to be the best player on a good NBA team. So that's going to be something like I hope they're teaching him that in the G League. Like I know that
can he buy into a supporting role on a good team? That's what I want to see. Can he do? Or
does he even have the skill set to perform a supporting role? Some guys just can't shoot off the some guys can't just shoot unless they go off the dribble. Like they need that rhythm to get the shot straight. And it's like that's another question. Like, does he have the skill set that you can have? Or is he like Ricky Davis, where he's good enough to be the best player on a bad team, but he's pretty useless on a good team?
Oh man, Ricky Davis.
Yeah.
Name I heard in a minute.
One of my favorite Cavs of all time, and definitely on that top 10 list. I don't give a fuck what nobody says. Deion Waiters, baby. Peak best player to have on a bad team. Okay. Okay.
Oh man, shout out Deion Waiters, NBA champion Deion Waiters.
Hey, there will be no Deion slander. Chat. Did he win it with the Lakers?
Yeah, he won one with
Ron got him that ring. He promised. Yeah. Hey, I will never forget this. I'll bring it up every time his name comes up. Made a game-winning shot in Miami in front of D Wade. It is stepped on the scorer's table in American Airlines Arena and looked at Wade in the eyes and told him, "This mine." Hey, we don't build them with that kind of audacity anymore.
It used to mean more back in the day.
Yeah. I want to know what Dwayne Wade was thinking, man.
Hey, he played in Miami after that. Played in Miami after
he was like, I gotta get back. They done lost their mind.
We got one last one here from Ray Rags. Kemp averaged 18, 20, and 18 in his 3 seasons and got MVP votes in his 2nd season.
Ooh.
Damn, he was cooking?
I didn't realize he was cooking like that. He said the very next comment is not real MVP votes, but MVP votes nonetheless. Oh, he was getting them 6th, 7th place MVP votes.
He was getting them local journalists wrote in Sean Kemp.
Listen, they still count. I ain't no hater.
I would like to point out that Zydrunas Ilgauskas does have his jersey retired with the Cleveland Cavaliers. No one will ever wear number 11 again.
He should. He deserves it.
Hey, man. If we retire Wild Things number, I'm out.
Oh, no Varejao slander. Don't do that.
No, I like Varejao, but like we can't just be retiring his number. Like he was cool. But the most miserable time of my Cavs fandom was watching Anderson Varejao be a pivotal point to the Cavs offense. Remember that? Remember after LeBron left? Anderson Varejao was asked to get 15 and 10?
Yeah.
Oh! You think Evan Mobley can't score? Imagine watching Wild Thing flop around trying to get 15.
Hey,
Ooh.
man.
Ooh. Nah, you don't get your
time.
number retired for that. Like,
All I know
if
is
his
they
number
better
gets
retire
retired,
Kyrie number.
huh?
They better retire Kyrie number.
If they retire 17 but don't retire 2, I'm out. I'm out.
I think it's a little bit different because Z played here for 15 years and was immediately averaging like 13, 14 points a game. Anderson Varejao was like, what, 5 points a game?
Z out here on the homeboy pool. Like, you know, we retired Z because Bron liked him. You know, he was Bron's favorite player. And he was this big Lithuanian motherfucker on the team making jumpers. Like, it's just, we liked him. He couldn't run. He couldn't jump. But you know what? He was good for that no jump foul line shot. And it was butter in NBA Live, too. Look, we all know why Z in the Ring of Fame. He was a good, solid player that we really fucked with in Cleveland. Like,
Hey, no shame in that.
hey, and he did it for 15 years. Anderson Varejao did not put in the proper amount of time, and he was not as good as Z. Okay.
I think one of my favorite Cavs seasons of all time was when they had Shaq and they would run Z and Shaq out there at the same time with their big, slow, just like LeBron doing everything.
Hey, man, Mike Brown is actually a defensive genius. And the fact that that was his solution for Dwight Howard in his prime, like, always cracks me up. Like, this is really like the NBA's best and brightest. What the fuck was he thinking?
No, I always respect the Shaq days because if it wasn't for the Shaq Cavs days, we never would have got that Kevin Hart special. That Kevin Hart special. When he was making fun of them.
How you fall.
He said everything Shaq do is dramatic.
Then the legs come up.
Oh man, I might watch that Kevin Hart special.
Look, man, most impactful thing Shaq did after he left the Heat, okay, was set up Kevin Hart for that generational home run. Had LeBron in there dying.
Ooh, I forgot he filmed that in Cleveland too,
Hey,
man. Ooh,
hey,
that was a
watching LeBron laugh like one of my uncles. Representation matters, right? Like, I never felt more normalized than that. Okay, LeBron. By the way, like, LeBron is LeBron in this little ass theater. And I don't know if you've ever seen it, Greg. He is going at it with the laughing. Like, he is up and down, grabbing Savannah. Like, I'm pretty sure somebody thought they was going to die while Kevin Hart was on that role. Like, that was...
I can't believe, hey, man, we got to stop acting like Kevin Hart was never funny. Like,
that's nuts to me.
Hilarious.
Like, hey, Kevin Hart was the funniest man on earth for like 5 years. like pretty much from that first special until he did the one in Lincoln Financial Field. Yeah, man, that was it. That was a generational run of shit. And stop acting like y'all didn't watch Ride Along. Okay.
Ride Along was funny.
Yes. Stop acting like y'all didn't laugh at the CIA movie with The Rock. And y'all gonna tell me y'all ain't fuck with Jumanji? Okay. Jumanji too.
Oh, Ray Rags, we going out on this one. We going out.
It's crazy that Ray Rags just sent this because I swear to God, I'm literally on the Wikipedia page for Antoine Jameson right now because I was just thinking about this. But Ray Rags says, "I will forever hate that we could have had Amari Stoudemire, but we got over the hill Antoine Jameson over J.J. Hickson."
Yeah, man, all time blunder from the Cavs.
You think Amari
probably contributed to why Brown was like, I need to get up out of here.
The funny thing about that is, like, I always hear this being brought up, but I'm like, 2009 LeBron and Amari Stoudemire sounds like a horrible fit.
I don't think it would have been horrible.
I don't know. They're both slashers. You already had a shooting problem on those teams. You're gonna
But you gotta
clog up the
remember-
lane. Where the
you gotta
is Z gonna go? Z can't go past 10 feet. Like, who are you starting if you're starting Amari Stoudemire there? Like, hey, I've always thought about that. I'm like, it would have been better, but would it have really been good? Like, I think LeBron would have been there, but like, oh, this ain't it. Because you know it fit like a glove? Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. Like, oh,
man.
I don't think there was anything you gonna do to compete with that, dog. I don't think he was gonna look at Amari Stoudemire like, yeah, I want this.
I hear what you're saying. They still should have done it.
Yeah, they should have. That's what I'm saying. It should have happened no matter what. And I don't think it really would have worked out, but it would have been more worth trying than just saying, all right, Bron, let's see if you can luck one out and then you win a championship and don't want to fucking leave.
Ray Rags is right about this. The pick and roll with Bron and Amari would have been nuts.
No, it would have been good. That would have been pretty hard. But
that would have been crazy.
yeah, that would have been. I didn't think about that. I'm thinking about them being on opposite sides of the court. Now that would have been pretty useful.
It would have been a lot of dunks either way.
Yeah. Still think they would have ran into some issues in the playoffs, but
A lot of ducks either way, dog. Wouldn't have
well,
mattered.
was that after KG's knee injury? Like, because it depends on what KG would go up against in the playoffs too.
So 2000 was it? No, it was 2010.
Yes,
It was JJ Hicks. So that's 2010. So that's when they lost to the. That's when they lost to the Celtics.
yes, in 5.
Yeah,
But I don't think that was KG at that point.
Oof, I don't know.
Because KG, ooh, I don't know. But KG with the bad knee, yeah, that might have went off. That might have. You would have definitely had a better ending to that first Cavs run at the very least.
Yeah,
You would have felt like you gave it a try. And then you would have had a very disgruntled Amari Stoudemire playing with Mo fucking Williams.
Do you guys remember the weird trade circumstances that even led to Antoine Jameson in the first place?
No.
How they traded. I was thinking about it because we were just talking about him. We traded Zydrunas Ilgauskas for him, but then the Wizards it was like Z and like a second round pick, and then the Wizards just immediately waived him, and then 30 days after that, the Cavs signed him back, and then the NBA made that rule like after that season that you can't do that anymore. And they called it the Zydrunas Ilgauskas loophole, which is why Andrew, like, it was a whole thing with Andrew Bogut and the Warriors later on.
Oh man, we got a loophole named after us. That's crazy. Good job, Cleveland.
Yeah.
Good job, Cleveland.
Because I remember that because it basically ended up that we traded for Antoine Jameson for like nothing. It was like a late second round pick.
All right. So,
hey man, that's what's up. You know what? We're gonna leave on a positive note about the Cavs. We're not gonna leave y'all no depressed ass Antoine Amari Stoudemire note.